Hey everyone, welcome back to CyberBee. This is the channel where I share my journey into cybersecurity as I go. So kind of like a follow along type thing. So today I thought we'd talk about Lighthouse Labs online cybersecurity bootcamp program because this is the one that I just graduated from in October 2024. So let me talk about the reasons why I chose this one, and then I'll take you through some of the coursework and things like that, their Discord channel and whatnot. And we can kind of talk about like the pros and cons of it. Okay. So the reason why I chose this bootcamp was a couple of different factors. One, the reputation it has in my city, Vancouver, BC, Canada, is I think it was like first to market, and so it kind of established itself very well in the epicenter of Silicon Valley North here as the place to go to upskill to. Their signature course is still like web development, but cybersecurity is a whole new beast right now, and because of the reputation, I really wanted to go here. There were other boot camps at that time. Like this is like maybe 5 years ago. No, they've been around for like 10 years, but 5 years ago was when I first heard of them. There were other boot camps at that time, but since COVID, like they all closed, and this is basically the only one that's left. There's another program that I was looking at, Brain Station. It's not like a boot camp. It was more like a 6-week type of a thing, part-time thing. So this was kind of the default option. Second is their career services follows you for life. This means anytime you're out of the job market, or if you just want a quick resume review, mock interview, those type of things, or if you're moving to a new city and you want to connect with employers in that new city that they're also in, they're able to help you do that. And so I really like that there's no time limit on that. And third, there was a huge incentive from the government to go and take this program. So I don't know if it's still running right now, but it's called Upskill Canada. And essentially, if you meet the requirements, which is pretty low, like pretty much anyone can get into it, that program, it brings down the full-time 12-week bootcamp from $14,000 in tuition to $3,500, which is a steal, right? It's like, it's not quite 10% yet. But at the end, they then assign you to work in groups at an internship, and it's paid. I think it was like $2,100, which brings it down to $1,400, which is 10% of the tuition fee. So for $1,400 for 12 weeks full time, and you get, you gain the network of, your professors, the mentors, other students, and you also get a paid work experience at the end of it. Yeah, it's a pretty good deal. So those are the reasons why I joined. And let me just kind of take you through what this program is about, the tools that we used, what I learned, and all that good stuff. So this is their sales page here. And it does talk a bit about, I'll show you the curriculum in a little bit. Just like explaining on like, what do cyber professionals do? These are two different ways that you can go about getting this education: 12-week full-time, which is immersive, that's the boot camp, or you can do a flexible part-time 30 weeks, lectures twice a week type of thing. I did the full-time because that was the only one that Upskill Canada approved of. And here are some pillars. You learn fundamental stuff, you learn industry relevant frameworks and whatnot, and then defensive security. So this is very much blue team focused, not red team, right? Red team would be like pen testing and whatnot. This would not be the place for you to go and get that type of knowledge. And I really like this at the end of it, because it is a private accredited college, right? You actually do get a diploma at the end, and it's equivalent to, like, the hours are equivalent to 1 year. In case it wasn't clear, no previous coding education or experience is required, which is great. It's literally complete beginner to, not expert, but like knowing a bit about cybersecurity. So before I joined, I already got the 2 certificates, the CompTIA Security Plus. I was self-studying for that. So I got that, and the ISC squared CC, certified in cybersecurity. So I had those 2 under my belt, and a little bit of work experience where I was exposed to either IT or some sort of like security minded practice, or actually a better way to put that would be like doing best practices in a business or operational sense that happen to be security minded, like security aware. That's what I say. So what are we learning this bootcamp, right? Network security, encryption, coding, incident response, forensics, threat detection, engineering, blue team stuff, threat defense operations. Okay, I'll come back to the curriculum in a little bit. So support system, on-demand mentorship, yes, as long as it's within those hours that they have. So every day there is maybe like 10 or 12 hour days. There's mentors that they have throughout the country so that it can serve different time zones. Proactive student support. I don't really know what that means. You're thrown in a Discord channel where you move through the course with your entire cohort, and you also have the ability to message other people that's on there. So these mentors, these instructors, and other students in the cohort. So how they split it up was everybody started in that one date. However, you're then like separated into a East Coast and a West Coast. So that'd be like BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba maybe, and then like Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritimes. So like once you're separated into these West versus East, you don't really get to talk to each other, which is really sad. But you kind of like, get to know the cohort that you're in. Lifetime career support. Yes, I did talk about that. Accessible education. It's on this platform called Compass, and you get access to that for your whole entire life after, even when they update the course, I believe. So that's nice. Yeah, I just don't know when I would go back in there. I think it's one of those like really nice features to have, but you might not end up using. You could, but that really depends on the person. Engaging community. I think it could have been more engaging. Going through the program, I didn't feel like the staff there created opportunities for us to talk to each other, even within our own cohort. Because yeah, we have lecture every day where we show up for however, I can't remember, like 2 hours or something. But we're there to listen to the professor. We're not there to like socialize amongst ourselves, So there weren't a lot of opportunities like that. But if you are a community builder, you can definitely create those opportunities for yourself. And that's what I tried to do in them. So I threw the people that I knew that I thought was cool into our own individual group chat on Discord. And we would, I tried to get us to help each other on our assignments and stuff like that. And just kind of talk about, what we learned in class and things outside of class as well. So in a sense, yeah, I was able to get to know my classmates a lot more. Then, the opposite or the other option of that is just like showing up to lecture and that's it, right? Lifelong learning. You also get lifelong access. There you go, to the curriculum and the platform. Yeah, that's what it means. I don't know how sure it means by accessible education then. Hold on. If you need to help us to support as a student, we're here to accessibility is not once. Oh, okay, accommodation. I guess so. In this sense, yeah, that made sense because I did ask for some accommodation, and they were able to discuss that with me. Yeah, I don't know if I wouldn't say they actually accommodated me though, but whatever questions that I had for my individual situation, they were able to. We were able to come to some sort of like an agreement or like a solution. So I'm good with that. So our students, okay, review sites, great. Student outcome report. They have one every year. Oh, it says 2022. Well, it's 2025 now, so it's probably a good time to update that. There you go. Here's the admissions process. So you apply online. From what I remember, it's like not too exhaustive. There is a logic test that you do. This one I don't think I scored too well, but it's kind of like those IQ tests. Like, here are these patterns. What's the next pattern? Or like, here's one, here's three, here's four. What's number two? Like, like a picture of a dice or something like that. So you can do a little bit of prep work yourself if you're worried about that test. 3 is the interview with one of their, I think, admission staff. Yes, admission staff. just to get to know you a little bit more, suss you out a bit, see if you have the chops to take the program, prepare and give you the chance to ask them any questions you might have. And then this is basically like you're in, and then from now until the first day of school, you need to finish your prep modules. The prep modules were, I would say, if you didn't have any background in security before, they might take you a little bit of time to do. But because I had those 2 certs under my belt, it didn't take me long. Maybe like a couple days or something. And yes, tuition. $10 deposit. You can absolutely take out from your RSPs, the lifelong learning plan, to pay for however much it costs. That's what I ended up doing. And you got to repay into it. I can't remember when I start doing that, but you need to repay back into it. And I'm sure it could be done in installments as well. So there's also a bunch of bursaries and scholarships and whatnot that you can apply for. I didn't end up doing that because it didn't. Most of it wasn't for private colleges. Most of them were for like public or universities. And so I just couldn't find most opportunities. Most of the opportunities I didn't find actually applied to me, so I wasn't able to get any. I'm sure there are. I maybe just wasn't spending the time to look at them in depthly. And yeah, some Q&A and stuff like that. Okay, cool. Let's go to the curriculum. This is a 12-pager where it tells you all about what you're going to be learning in this program. And we saw the pillars before: educational, on demand, yada yada. Okay, curriculum breakdown. I think this is the meat and potatoes of it. It's pretty detailed. So this prep course you do, let's see, maybe there is 12 weeks to, okay. Yeah, there is. So week 1, we're talking about IT essentials. Week 2, security essentials. Week 3 was programming. Yeah, remember that, because that was the hardest module that we had to do. I'm like, oh, no. Blue team fundamentals, GRC stuff, vulnerability assessment, incident response encryption, threat defense ops, okay, forensics, secure architecture, and then last week and a half-ish, last 2 weeks, is your capstone project, which basically you can pick from a list of different project ideas, but essentially you are putting together everything that you learned in one massive project. And then you're presenting it at demo day, which is also your graduation day. It's like a 5-minute short presentation of what you've done. It obviously does not encompass everything, but just the highlights of what you've done. And you're given a lot of feedback in terms of what to say, what to cover. You get a little dry run. There's like a tech check, and then there's like a dry run that you can do. And then it's game time. Okay, let's see if there's anything else here that's interesting to talk about. Nope. Okay, so let me now give you a walkthrough of what the platform looks like. It's called Compass. I think they built this themselves. I don't think they bought it. And up here, here's the schedule. Let's see if it's still up. Nope, they changed it and it's not up. Okay, here's the lectures, which is where we were at. Oh, sorry. This is there. So every single lecture is recorded. So if you were not able to make it, you can also go here and, rewatch it. That's what this is. Projects. Okay, so there's 12 core projects that you do. They're not necessarily for marks, I would say. It's more of a pass or fail thing, and the mentors and instructors will go in there, read the project, and then kind of give you feedback, and they'll determine whether or not that you've you've demonstrated enough knowledge in order to pass that particular module. And so I don't know, let's see, let's go into one of them. Okay, so it's like this. So they score you on 4 on specific things, and then it's accepted. You can view evaluation. Okay, I don't want to give too much away. So it kind of looks like this. It's essentially a report. Every single project is a report, and it helps you with like technical analysis and report writing. And then it kind of just tells you how you fared. Okay, with comments if they actually leave it. So reference used, project requirement. Most people, format quality, yeah, this is the one that people need work with the most, business level communication, because what we're taught is very technical, and so if we're trying to explain it to other people who are non-tech, we need to be able to convey that using words. And so I think that was like the biggest thing that most people have learned doing these projects. And it's good because that's probably what you need in real life. You're not always talking to your team. You're talking to different stakeholders that probably don't come from a tech background. So you need to be able to explain things in a way that, common people can understand. Oh, you also get 2 tech interviews. The first one scared me to bits. So did the last one. They're actually, they weren't as scary as I thought they would be. I think probably because I got the same interviewer twice, and he was just really nice. It was just like really, really gentle with me. They ask you maybe like 4 technical questions, and you need to answer them, right? It's like a mock tech interview. So there's an early one, there's a late one, and I passed both, and I'm happy with that. Oops. That's what they mean. Career Compass. So there's the prep courses in here already, and that's a really good idea to host it on the same platform, because it gets you a bit more, used to using Compass. Oh, I didn't know I was put into this alum cohort. That's cool. Okay. But what I really wanted to look at, that's this. I really wanted to look at this one here, the immersive. So let me show you week 1. So it lays it out here every week. So basically only the week that you're in is actually available to you at that time. So all of these are non-populated. You can click them until like the Friday before it happened. So this is what it'll look like. Lectures are all here, and like you get the slides and all that stuff. See, any kind of like comments that they might have, and if they uploaded the lecture afterwards, this is also where you'll find it. You got your work activities. Can I close these? No, I can't. Okay, and it's a whole bunch of stuff to do. Of course, all these different icons mean different things. This is like a reading thing. This is an activity. This is something. So let me just click into it so you can take a look, see. So, I mean, obviously this is week 1, day 1. This is very easy tasks. Okay, maybe this is not the best one to show. I'll do week 2, day 2. Yeah, there you go. So this is lecture. You have to mark everything complete as you go. That's how the education team tracks where your progress is. So work activity. So, oh, how come it didn't go? There you go. So this is the first assignment, and you're essentially reading the instructions. There might be some videos. There might be some things for you to read. There might be like a whole case scenario that you're supposed to do. And at the very beginning, like this is very well written out. They show you exactly what you want. So they even have like a little mini report, like this is what I want your title to be. This is what your executive summary is supposed to be about. This is what you're supposed to be putting in it, your overall findings. And then lastly, follow up with remedial recommendations, right? And then create like a, presentation slide about it or something like that. And so you have to submit it. No, I'm not gonna click that. But basically it says submission, and then you put your link in there that you created for your report or whatever it is. It's usually something on like your Google Docs or something. You click on submit, and you go to next, and that has marked you off as completed already. You see here? So yeah, that's kind of what they all look like. let's look at this. So yeah, this is reading bullet point. Sorry, bullet point. What is this? Lightning means task, and then this little end bracket thing means assignment. So sometimes they do assign you things like, okay, go through the news and pick a cybersecurity breach case that's happened, review it, ask your peers or your instructors questions, and then get in touch with the mentor to discuss. A lot of these assignments are not for marks. Most people don't end up doing because in the full-time program, like it's so much time spent doing your reports that's actually for marks, or attending lecture or doing some sort of research, that you don't actually have time to do every single thing. And they do recommend that you don't try to focus to do everything, right? What you want to do, like the most important thing is to not fall behind. So if you need to skip a couple of assignments in order to get your project in on time, then do that, right? That's not any different than working at a job, you know? You got to have conflicting deadlines, but which one should you hand in first? The one that has the most impact, right? Or the one that your manager, your boss, or your VP is going to be using at his meeting tomorrow. That is the one that you do. So in all the other ones, you're going to have to push back or, discuss with other people when you can hand it in next. Okay. So yeah, that's what it looks like. And then this is their Discord channel. Don't switch. This is actually their alum group. So you're not going to get this until after you graduate, but their student cohort group is pretty similar. And the only difference is it kind of just goes through, like you're in with your cohort only. And you also get access to like your mentors and your instructors during mentor hours and whatnot. So in the active student one, there's less channels, whereas this one is just like everyone's in here, right? So you get to see every single thing. And so yeah, that is it for now. Okay, I lied. So that's the Discord channel. So overall, I would say that this is what I really liked from my experience there. I loved getting in touch with the with the instructors, mentors too, with the instructors. They are absolutely, the industry professionals that are moving and shaking with other people in the industry. So they know what they're talking about. They have like 30 something, 20 something decades worth of experience under their belt who are teaching you this. Some people are better educators than others, of course. That really depends on their communication style and your learning style, right? So most of the time, we got really good instructors. Some of them went above and beyond and would take us out of compass, or would show us real life problems, or to illustrate the point that they're trying to make across. Some of them actually, I loved all the stories that they had from their own personal experience. Those ones really stuck with me. Other instructors actually gamified things for us. So maybe at the end of lecture, there's like a pop quiz or something, and we go hop onto this other platform where it's all anonymous, but we're answering the questions on there, and whoever gets it right the first or something like that, you have like a little scoreboard that you see. So that was quite engaging. There are definitely other instructors who just kind of read off the slide, so it wasn't great. But you still have to find a way to get yourself up to speed if you didn't learn that morning in that lecture. What else did I really like? I did like getting to know my cohort, even though they did split us between East and West. There's nothing stopping you from messaging those people. It's just like you're working on the same lecture, you're working on the same project, but because you don't have that FaceTime or even that like reason to message, like for example, when we're on Zoom on lecture, there's the chat, like I can actually, chat people up or use Discord or something like that, right? But when you're splitting groups apart, you don't really know who's who, and yeah. But there's nothing stopping you from just messaging them on Discord and asking to do a Zoom call. I didn't do that much. I kind of wish I did though. There are also some, maybe it wasn't that often, maybe monthly, every 3-week basis, the education team would put together some sort of online event. Maybe there's a speaker that's talking about their experience going into cybersecurity. Maybe there's like a interview or a resume workshop that you can go into for all the students to attend. I wasn't able to make too many, but I appreciate those happening because then I see the effort being put in, and if my schedule aligned, I could have attended, right? What else did I really like? I really liked talking to the mentors. I would definitely encourage you before you submit each report to just book a time with a mentor and go through it. Go through your project together so that there's no any surprises after you submit it. Or just up a time and just chat with a bunch of different mentors. They're all over the country, probably mostly in Toronto. Those are the ones that I was talking to anyways. And they're also working in the field. And therefore, you're also building your network at the time. There's actually one mentor on there who worked for IBM within their cybersecurity. And they also work for like really good companies too, right? It's like government workers, city of Toronto or something like that. IBM, there's other people that own their own consulting business. Some people own their own MSP or MSSP. The caliber of talent that Lighthouse Lab has hired to take care of their students is quite high. You just need to reach out. And I think that's the number one advice I would give people who's going through any type of program. It is what you make of it. And if you're only putting in the bare minimum, that's probably what you're just going to get back, right? So for example, I was saying, you can definitely create a group on Discord and just get to know each other that way. I did end up doing that. Sometimes it's dormant, sometimes it's useful. And I got close to a couple of them where, it's a couple months after our graduation, and I'm still talking to them on a pretty regular basis, right? And these are the people that you're forming your first connection with in this new field, and you're helping each other and egging each other on. And what else did I really like? Whenever somebody asks you that question, it's never going to be, oh, the coursework. Like, no, that's the one thing that you forget all the time, which is why I ended up getting Let's Defend so I can keep myself sharp. I think I just really appreciated the projects that we had to do. Some of the presentations that they made us do, the demo day. And of course, there's some, after you write the report, you're supposed to then create a presentation slide and film yourself talking about your report. So that was really good exercise for possibly something that could happen at the workplace. Just having access to people in the field to ask random questions to, I find very helpful outside of schoolwork. So for example, if I wanted to make sure, hey, you know what, I did this cert and this cert, and I'm looking to do the next one, or what should I do after I graduate in order to secure a job, or, can you look at my resume? Things like that. Like, those are really helpful to have people in the field already to help you with those. So that's what I really liked. Let's talk about some things that I think can be improved on. I think, I said before, the engagement aspect of it, you can definitely be your own cheerleader and, get that going yourself. That's what I was trying to do, right? With the limited time and energy that I had. I really think that Lighthouse Labs, I think student success coordinator was her title. I think they could have put more time into making sure that our own cohort was networking and talking to and like getting to know each other. East and West together, I think would have been a really good idea. Perhaps they could have connected us to alums more. They actually didn't, not more, like do it because they didn't do that. You're put into the alum Discord group after, but like nobody's going to be messaging other people that they don't know for no reason, I think there needed to be a place and a time where it was appropriate to do that, and they would have been the best medium to organize that. I think they could have had more organize more events where we were in touch with employers, or at least meet their recruiter or their like kind of go-to contact. What else? So the internship at the end. So this is kind of separate from Lighthouse Labs. Like, they are the ones that kind of passes us off to Ripen, which is the internship platform. And then the Ripen people connects us with the employers. I think, I don't know who puts us in a group. It's like in a group of like 5 or 6 different students. The groups are too big, by the way, for each person to have a meaningful part to do in the project. So that's, yeah, that's one thing to work on. And then also, I don't think they vetted the projects very well because some employers were asking for things that didn't, that we never learned in school. Like, for example, our employer asked us to do a code source review and fix any bugs that we found. And we're like, we don't do web dev. Like, we were part of the cybersecurity bootcamp, and we're just not capable to do that. So, and maybe in one element that they didn't tell us is, we do have to negotiate with the employer as to what exactly the internship is going to be, because perhaps they don't know, and that's good practice for when we get out in industry. I don't know, but I kind of wish that they did prep the employers a bit more about what we're actually capable of doing, because I don't know, I kind of felt like we got off on the wrong foot when we started saying, no, we can't do this because nobody taught us to. And so whatever you needed help with, I can't do half the thing that you asked me to do. But of course, that's just my opinion. Maybe they didn't, think like that at all. I don't know. What else? I wish there were more check-ins from either Ripen or Lighthouse Labs throughout the internship. That would have been very helpful because, most of these employers, and I can't get on the platform right now to show you, but most of these employers, but I can show you this, the Ripen. So they're in the alum group, there is a channel that says Ripen for cybersecurity. And so they do assign like a mentor that I know of, there could be more, that actually helps students, go through their project, not help us do the work, but just kind of like help us more with how to talk to the client, how to, scope out the project, how to, tackle what they're asking us to do. So that was really helpful. And they didn't actually tell us that we have support in this until after we started the project. So maybe it's a new thing. Maybe they're just not that organized. I don't know. Okay. So yes, I wish that either Ripen or Lighthouse Labs was checking in with the group, just to ask us, hey, how are you doing? What do you need help with? And things like that throughout those 4 weeks. Perhaps every week, perhaps just like a midpoint visit would have been nice. We weren't checked in on at all. And yeah, I think like we could have just saved us a lot of headaches if there was actually somebody guiding us through it. Like there needed to be a little bit more structure. I think that's what it is. Because right now it's like Lighthouse Labs, oh, you've graduated and now you're doing your internship. Okay, cool. Best of luck, bye. And then Ripen, which is only just one project coordinator or something, there's like multiple groups of students doing their practicum at the exact same time. She is not, she doesn't have the bandwidth to kind of check in on everybody, right? And plus, I don't think that's her job. I think her job is to get employers to sign up on the platform so that they can be assigned students to work on. Oh, another thing is most of these employers on the Ripen platform, they are startups. They're startups who is trying to take care of cheap or free labor. Well, it is free for them because the government pays the subsidy. Free labor to do some work. And most of the time, because, we talk to people in our cohort that are on different project teams, and they also didn't have like the most fantastic experience. And I think it's because of these like checks and balances not in place, right? So people weren't checking in, or the employer doesn't have somebody that actually does security. And so they're looking to us, the students who just graduated, as kind of like experts of, oh, here's my thing. Take a look and tell me what needs to be done and then do it. It wasn't the best structured experience. It wasn't. But what I can say is, this really flipped things on its head and made us come in more as consultants than an intern. Because this is what consultants do. They come in to somebody's mess, do an audit, and then put together a report of these recommendations. And that's what we did. And talking to the mentor that we had help us through it, he's like, most students don't get the chance to then implement their recommendations because one, it's out of their scope. Two, they're probably out of time by then because you only get like 30 hours or something to work on it. Three, they don't, like the employer doesn't actually have somebody on their end that can supervise the implementation. So if things goes wrong, well, how do you unsolve that? How do you undo it? Sorry, not unsolve it. How do you solve it? How do you undo that? And yeah, so I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I have that experience under my belt. I'm glad I have the cybersecurity specialist title, but it really could have been a better experience if it was more structured. So yeah, in the end, if you can't afford the time or money to go and back to school and get like a 4-year or 2-year program, this 12-week diploma program I think is definitely good enough to get you started, along with any like industry certifications that you can get to round yourself out. But most importantly, just continuing to practice on your own home labs, let's defend, job simulations, getting out there, networking in person on LinkedIn, and doing all the things that you need to do to secure that first job, and where you will continue to keep learning and keep practicing and keep doing all the things that you need to do to be a great cybersecurity professional. So yeah, that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this one, please watch the next video for more hands-on cybersecurity. Stay curious and see you in the next video.